12 Universal Laws for Living an Amazing Life. Brought to you by Hyptoria. What if I told you that every morning you wake up inside a universe that's secretly conspiring to help you succeed, but only if you know the rules? Right now, invisible forces are shaping your reality. The same laws that govern the stars above are influencing who you attract, what opportunities find you, and whether your dreams become reality or remain forever out of reach. Ancient masters knew these secrets. Modern science is proving them. And the few who understand these 12 universal laws, they're the ones living lives that seem almost magical, effortlessly attracting success, love, and fulfillment, while others struggle. This isn't mystical nonsense. These are the operating instructions for reality itself. And once you understand them, you'll never see your life the same way again. Law 1. The Law of Divine Oneness. Everything is connected to everything else. Picture dropping a pebble into a still pond. The ripples spread outward, touching every part of the water's surface. This simple image captures the profound truth of divine oneness. Nothing exists in isolation. Every thought you think, every action you take, every emotion you feel, sends ripples through the infinite web of existence. The renowned physicist Albert Einstein understood this deeply when he wrote, "A human being is part of the whole called by us universe, a part limited in time and space. He experiences himself, his thoughts and feelings, as something separate from the rest, a kind of optical delusion of his consciousness." This isn't merely poetic language. Modern quantum physics reveals that at the most fundamental level, all matter and energy are interconnected through what scientists call the unified field. When you truly grasp this, something extraordinary happens. You begin to see that helping others is actually helping yourself, that harming others ultimately harms you, and that your personal transformation contributes to the healing of the entire world. The Global Consciousness Project offers fascinating evidence of this interconnection. Researchers have placed random number generators worldwide to detect whether major global events create deviations in random data. During significant moments like collective tragedies or celebrations, the data shows remarkable patterns, suggesting that when humanity's attention focuses intensely on the same event, it creates measurable effects in the physical world. Living this law. Practice empathy by remembering that others' experiences are deeply connected to your own. Cultivate mindfulness to recognize how your thoughts and actions ripple outward into the world. Set positive intentions, knowing they influence the cosmic web of existence. Find peace by understanding you're never truly alone. You're supported by the entire universe itself. When you embrace divine oneness, isolation becomes impossible. Fear diminishes, and you begin to live from a place of profound connection and responsibility. Law 2. The Law of Vibration. Everything is energy in motion. Right now, as you read these words, you are vibrating, not just metaphorically, literally. Every atom in your body is in constant motion, dancing with energy. Your thoughts are vibrations. Your emotions are vibrations. Even your intentions create distinct energetic frequencies that ripple out into the world. The brilliant inventor, Nikola Tesla, captured this truth perfectly. If you want to find the secrets of the universe, think in terms of energy, frequency, and vibration. Tesla wasn't speaking mystically. He was describing the fundamental nature of reality, as revealed by cutting-edge physics. Consider how music affects you. A joyful melody can instantly lift your spirits, while a somber tune might bring tears to your eyes. This happens because the vibrational frequency of the music aligns with the vibrational frequency of your emotional state. You're not just hearing the music, you're resonating with it. The same principle applies to everything in your life. When you walk into a room after an argument has taken place, you can feel the tension in the air. When you spend time with positive, uplifting people, you feel energized. When you focus on gratitude, you attract more experiences to be grateful for. This isn't coincidence, it's the law of vibration in action. Dr. Bruce Lipton's groundbreaking research in cellular biology demonstrates how our thoughts and emotions send vibrational signals that literally influence our DNA and cellular behavior. Your beliefs, which are essentially vibrational patterns, determine how your genes express themselves. In simpler terms, The frequency of your thoughts shapes your physical reality at the most fundamental level. Rising your vibration. Begin each day by checking your emotional frequency and choosing to focus on positive thoughts. Practice gratitude regularly, as this simple act creates a powerful upward spiral in your vibrational state. Surround yourself with environments that inspire and uplift you, whether that's spending time in nature, creating beautiful spaces in your home, or choosing companions who support your growth. Be mindful of the energy you bring to every situation, remembering that you are both a transmitter and receiver of vibrational frequencies. Embracing the law of vibration transforms you from a passive victim of circumstances into an active creator of your reality. When you consciously choose higher frequencies, the universe responds by bringing you experiences that match that elevated state. Law 3. The law of action. Movement creates momentum. Dreams without action remain wishes. Intentions without movement stay trapped in the realm of possibility. The law of action bridges the gap between what you desire and what you actually experience. It's the force that transforms potential energy into kinetic reality. Isaac Newton understood this principle when he formulated his famous law. To every action, there is always opposed an equal reaction. But this goes far beyond physics. It applies to every aspect of human experience. The actions you take today create the results you'll experience tomorrow. The steps you avoid taking today create the gaps and regrets you'll face in the future. Think about every great achievement in human history. Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. didn't just dream of civil rights. He organized marches, delivered speeches, and took concrete steps toward justice. The Wright brothers didn't just imagine flight. They built countless prototypes, conducted experiments, and refined their designs through trial and error. Marie Curie didn't just think about radioactivity. She spent years in her laboratory, conducting meticulous research that would change science forever. The law of action operates on a simple but profound principle. The universe responds to momentum. When you take the first step, even if it's small and imperfect, you create movement. That movement attracts resources, opportunities, and synchronicities that wouldn't have appeared if you'd remained stationary. Here's a powerful technique that can revolutionize your relationship with action: the 5-second rule. When you have an impulse to do something positive, whether it's starting a project, making a phone call, or simply getting up to exercise, count down from 5 to 1, then immediately move. This simple practice bypasses the hesitation and self-doubt that often paralyze us before we can act. Embodying this law, define your goals with crystal clarity, because vague intentions produce vague results. Break large objectives into smaller, manageable steps that you can take consistently. Remember that consistency trumps intensity. Small actions taken daily create more profound results than sporadic bursts of effort. Celebrate every step forward, no matter how small, because acknowledgement builds momentum and reinforces positive patterns. The law of action reminds us that we are not passive observers of our lives, but active participants in creating our destiny. Every action is a vote for the kind of person you're becoming and the kind of life you're building. Law 4. The law of correspondence. As above, so below. As within, so without. Your outer world is a mirror of your inner world. The circumstances you encounter, the relationships you attract, the opportunities that come your way, all of these reflect the beliefs, thoughts, and emotional patterns you carry within yourself. This ancient wisdom, encoded in the phrase, as above, so below, as within, so without, reveals one of the most empowering truths you can ever discover. To change your external circumstances, you must first change your internal landscape. Hermes Trismegistus, the legendary figure from ancient wisdom traditions, taught that understanding one level of reality grants insight into all levels. The patterns that govern the cosmos also govern your personal life. The same forces that create harmony among the planets can create harmony in your relationships. The same principles that maintain balance in nature can bring balance to your daily experience. Carl Jung, the pioneering psychiatrist, explored this principle through his concept of synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that occur when our inner state aligns with outer events. He observed that when people undergo significant internal transformations, Their external world often shifts in remarkable ways, as if the universe is responding to their new internal frequency. Dr. Masaru Emoto's research with water crystals provides tangible evidence of this principle. When water was exposed to positive words and emotions, it formed beautiful symmetrical crystals. When exposed to negative words, the crystals became chaotic and fragmented. Since the human body is largely composed of water, imagine the impact your internal dialogue has on your physical being. Consider the Renaissance period, when humanity experienced a collective awakening of creativity, curiosity, and human potential. This internal shift toward exploration and artistic expression manifested externally in unprecedented advancements in art, science, and philosophy. Individual transformations created cultural transformation. Or think about Nelson Mandela's extraordinary journey. During his 27 years in prison, he underwent a profound internal transformation, shifting from anger and vengeance to forgiveness and unity. This inner change didn't just affect him personally, it helped transform an entire nation, leading South Africa from apartheid to democracy. Applying this law. Begin with deep self-reflection to understand your internal patterns and beliefs. When you encounter challenges in your external world, look within for the corresponding internal conflict or limiting belief. Practice positive affirmations and visualization, not as wishful thinking, but as tools to align your internal state with your desired external reality. Surround yourself with positive influences, because your environment shapes your inner world, just as your inner world shapes your environment. Pay careful attention to your internal dialogue, because the way you speak to yourself determines how life speaks to you. The law of correspondence empowers you to become the architect of your own reality by working from the inside out. When you change your inner world, your outer world has no choice but to follow. Law 5. The law of cause and effect. Every action creates a reaction. Perhaps no law is more straightforward, yet more profound, than the law of cause and effect. Often called karma, this principle teaches that every cause produces an effect, and every effect becomes a cause for something else. You are constantly setting energetic wheels in motion, creating ripples that will eventually return to you. This isn't about divine punishment or cosmic scorekeeping. It's about understanding that you live in a responsive universe where the energy you put out inevitably comes back to you in some form. The kindness you show a stranger may return as unexpected help when you need it most. The negativity you spread may manifest as obstacles and conflicts in your own life. Stephen G. Post's research revealed that people who regularly engage in acts of kindness experience improved emotional and physical health, reduced stress, and increased longevity. The good they do for others literally creates good for themselves at a biological level. Ancient wisdom teaches this principle beautifully. How others treat you reflects their choices, but how you respond reflects yours. You cannot control what others do, but you have complete control over how you respond. Your responses become causes that create new effects in your life. Consider the inspiring story of Muhammad Yunus, who saw the devastating poverty in Bangladesh and the exploitation of the poor by loan sharks. Instead of simply feeling bad about the situation, he took action, founding the Grameen Bank to provide microloans to impoverished people without requiring collateral. This cause created an extraordinary effect. Millions of people, particularly women, were empowered to start businesses and lift themselves out of poverty. Yunus's compassionate action earned him the Nobel Peace Prize and proved that individual initiative can create widespread social transformation. On a personal level, think about Dick and Rick Hoyt, a father and son team where Rick was born with cerebral palsy. Rather than accepting limitations, Dick began pushing Rick in marathons and triathlons. Their dedication and love not only strengthened their bond, but inspired millions worldwide, changing perceptions about disability and human potential. Living this law. Practice mindful decision-making by considering the long-term consequences of your choices. Take full responsibility for your actions without blaming external circumstances, because responsibility is the foundation of personal power. Cultivate positive thoughts consistently, recognizing that mental patterns set chains of events in motion just as surely as physical actions do. Understand karma not as fate, but as a series of choices, and choose kindness, generosity, and empathy to create cycles of positive returns in your life. The law of cause and effect places tremendous power in your hands. Every moment offers you the opportunity to plant seeds that will grow into the garden of your future experience. Law 6. The law of compensation. The universe keeps perfect accounts. The universe operates like a cosmic accounting system, where every investment of energy, every act of service, every effort toward growth is recorded and eventually repaid. The law of compensation ensures that you receive back what you give, though not always in the form or time frame you might expect. This isn't about keeping score or earning points. It's about recognizing that generosity, authenticity, and positive contribution create a flow of abundance that eventually circles back to enrich your own life. The universe has its own currency, and those who give freely into this system find themselves receivers of unexpected blessings. Ralph Waldo Emerson, who wrote extensively about compensation, understood this as a spiritual law that governs both material and moral realms. He observed that shallow people believe in luck, while wise people understand cause and effect. Everything you do is an investment in your future, and the universe pays compound interest on positive contributions. Dr. Martin Seligman's research in positive psychology confirms this principle scientifically. His studies show a clear correlation between the quality of our actions, particularly expressions of gratitude and contributions to others, and our levels of happiness and success. When we give good, we don't just feel good, we create conditions that generate more good in our lives. Adam Grant's research on workplace dynamics reveals fascinating insights about givers, takers, and matchers. While some givers can be taken advantage of, the most successful people in his studies were also givers, those who consistently helped others without expecting immediate returns. Their generosity created networks of support and opportunity that ultimately benefited them tremendously. Consider J.K. Rowling's journey from struggling single mother on welfare to billionaire author. After achieving massive success with Harry Potter, she gave away so much money to charity that she actually lost her billionaire status. Yet this generosity didn't impoverish her. It earned her even greater respect, love from fans worldwide, and a legacy that extends far beyond financial wealth. Or look at Angelina Jolie, who has used her celebrity platform for extensive humanitarian work with refugees and human rights causes. Her dedication to these causes has earned her influence and respect that extends far beyond entertainment, demonstrating how service to others enhances rather than diminishes our own standing in the world. In the 1990s, Medellin, Colombia, was one of the world's most dangerous cities. Through community-driven investments in education and infrastructure, the city transformed dramatically. Crime dropped, quality of life improved, and tourism flourished. The community's investment in itself paid dividends that exceeded anyone's expectations. Applying this law, focus on the authenticity and quality of your efforts, rather than immediate returns, because genuine contribution resonates differently than self-serving action. Practice consistency and patience, understanding that compensation operates on the universe's timeline, not yours. Balance giving and receiving by being open to help from others, because blocking the flow in either direction disrupts the system. Regularly reflect on your intentions to ensure they align with the outcomes you truly desire. The law of compensation teaches us that no good deed goes unnoticed by the universe, and no authentic effort goes unrewarded. When you contribute positively to the world, you're making deposits in a cosmic bank account that pays interest in ways you might never expect. Law 7. The law of attraction. Like energy attracts like energy. You are a living magnet, constantly attracting experiences, people, and circumstances that match your dominant thoughts and emotional frequencies. The law of attraction operates on the simple yet profound principle that like attracts like. Whatever you focus on consistently, you draw into your reality. This isn't wishful thinking or magical fantasy. Ancient civilizations understood this principle, and modern quantum physics provides fascinating insights into how consciousness interacts with the physical world. Dr. Masaru Emoto's water crystal experiments demonstrated that focused intention could actually change the molecular structure of water. Since your body is largely water, imagine what your consistent thoughts and emotions are creating within you. The power of this law lies not in passive wishing, but in the alignment of thought, emotion, and action. When you think about something repeatedly, feel the emotions associated with having it, and take inspired action toward it, you create a powerful, attractive force that draws your desires toward you. Will Smith has shared how his belief in the power of focused intention helped him achieve seemingly impossible goals in entertainment. But perhaps no testimony is more powerful than that of Sir Anthony Hopkins, who described how believing in his dreams as a child, even without much hope, somehow brought everything he envisioned into reality. Many successful individuals throughout history have attributed their achievements to maintaining unwavering focus on their goals, while feeling deep gratitude for their eventual manifestation. Consider the everyday evidence of this law in action. Have you ever noticed that when you wake up in a good mood, everything seems to go your way? You receive compliments, find good parking spots, encounter old friends. Conversely, when you start the day feeling negative, obstacles seem to appear everywhere. Your mood sets an attractive frequency that draws matching experiences. Or think about how often you think of someone just before they call or text you. Or how when you're looking for something specific, a certain type of car, a particular book, a solution to a problem, you suddenly start noticing it everywhere. This isn't coincidence. It's your focused attention activating the law of attraction, calming this law. Begin by gaining crystal clarity about what you truly want, because vague desires produce vague results. Write down your goals in vivid detail, engaging all your senses in the description. Generate the emotional frequency of already having what you desire. Feel the gratitude, excitement, and fulfillment, as if your goal is already achieved. Take inspired action by following your intuition and acting on opportunities that feel aligned with your vision. Practice trust and patience by releasing your attachment to exactly how and when your manifestation will appear, allowing the universe to surprise you with better timing and methods than you could have planned. The law of attraction reminds us that we are not passive victims of circumstance, but active creators of our experience. Every thought is a seed, every emotion is water, and every action is sunlight in the garden of your reality. Law 8. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy. Energy never dies, it only changes form. Nothing in the universe is static. Everything is in constant motion, continuously transforming from one state to another. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy teaches that you have the power to change any condition in your life by working with the fluid nature of energy itself. Think about water. It can exist as ice, liquid, or vapor, yet it remains fundamentally the same substance in different forms. Your life circumstances operate similarly. What appears solid and unchangeable, your financial situation, your relationships, your health, are actually forms of energy that can be transmuted into something entirely different. Marie Curie's groundbreaking research on radioactivity demonstrated this principle at the atomic level. She showed how elements could literally transform into other elements, proving that what we perceive as solid matter is actually energy in constant flux. Her work laid the foundation for understanding that transformation is not only possible, but inevitable. Carl Jung explored this principle in human psychology, showing how acknowledging and integrating our shadow aspects, the parts of ourselves we try to hide, actually transforms them into sources of personal power and growth. He observed that what we resist persists, but what we consciously work with can be alchemically transformed. Consider Thomas Edison's journey with the light bulb. Rather than seeing his thousands of failed attempts as defeats, he transmuted each failure into valuable information about what didn't work, bringing him closer to the solution. His famous quote, "I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work," exemplifies the transmutation of apparent failure into ultimate success. J.K. Rowling's story offers another powerful example. She transmuted her experiences of poverty, depression, and rejection into the magical world of Harry Potter. Her personal struggles became the raw material for stories that would inspire millions and transform her from a struggling single mother into one of the world's most influential authors. This law operates in your daily life as well. The frustration you feel about a problem contains the same energy that could power your breakthrough solution. The anxiety about a challenge holds the same force that could fuel your courage to overcome it. The anger about an injustice carries the identical energy that could drive positive change. Working with this law, develop conscious awareness of your thoughts and actively transform negative patterns into positive ones by recognizing that they're both different forms of the same mental energy. Practice mindful communication to transmute conflict into understanding, approaching disagreements as opportunities for mutual growth rather than battles to be won. Engage in physical wellness practices like exercise or movement, which literally transmute stagnant energy into vitality and health. Use creative expression as a form of alchemy, transforming difficult emotions into art, writing, music, or other forms of beauty that serve both yourself and others. The law of perpetual transmutation of energy empowers you to become an alchemist of your own experience, transforming whatever life gives you into fuel for growth, success, and fulfillment. Law 9. The law of relativity. Everything is relative to your perspective. Nothing in life has inherent meaning. Everything gains significance only in relation to something else. The law of relativity teaches that your experience of any situation depends entirely on how you choose to perceive it and what you compare it to. This is perhaps the most immediately transformative of all the universal laws, because understanding it can instantly shift your entire life experience. The moment you truly grasp that your happiness, success, and fulfillment are relative to your perspective rather than your circumstances, you become free from the tyranny of external conditions. Eleanor Roosevelt captured this beautifully when she said that no one can make you feel inferior without your consent. Your sense of self-worth is relative, and by choosing how you interpret others' actions and words, you shape your own emotional reality. Viktor Frankl, who survived the concentration camps, discovered this truth under the most extreme circumstances. He observed that even in unspeakable suffering, individuals could find meaning by relating their experiences to higher values and purposes. His book, Man's Search for Meaning, demonstrates how perspective can transform even the darkest experiences into sources of wisdom and strength. Let me share a story that illustrates this law perfectly. Imagine 4 people in the same city on the same morning. David stands in his luxury penthouse, frustrated because he couldn't get into an exclusive club that represents even greater status. Cliff sits on his beautiful yacht, bitter because he doesn't have the wealth to afford a penthouse lifestyle. Sarah sits in traffic, envying Cliff's apparent freedom and leisure. Amina wakes up homeless but filled with hope because she has a job interview that could change everything. The external circumstances range from luxury to hardship, yet the person with the least has the most joy, while those with the most feel the greatest suffering. This isn't irony. It's the law of relativity in action. Happiness isn't determined by what you have, but by how you relate to what you have. Carl Sagan offered a cosmic perspective on this law when he described Earth as a pale blue dot in the vastness of space. From that perspective, our individual challenges and triumphs seem tiny, yet this doesn't diminish their importance to us. Instead, it invites humility and appreciation for the interconnectedness of all life. Embracing this law and cultivate a gratitude practice by regularly appreciating what you have rather than focusing exclusively on what you lack. When challenges arise, consciously seek the cosmic perspective by remembering that difficulties are temporary and relative to your total life experience. Practice empathy by considering others' perspectives, especially during conflicts, because understanding different viewpoints transforms disagreements into opportunities for connection. Use mindful comparison by recognizing that everyone faces challenges relative to their own journey, which reduces judgment and increases compassion for both yourself and others. The law of relativity liberates you from the prison of circumstances by reminding you that you always have the power to choose your perspective. When you master this law, you become unshakable because your peace comes from within rather than from external conditions. Law 10. The law of polarity. Everything has an opposite, light and darkness, joy and sorrow, success and failure. These aren't separate opposing forces, but different degrees of the same spectrum. The law of polarity teaches that opposites are actually 2 extremes of identical phenomena, And understanding this duality is key to navigating life with wisdom and balance. Consider a magnet. It has both positive and negative poles, but you cannot have one without the other. They exist as inseparable aspects of the same object. Similarly, every experience in your life contains seeds of its opposite. Your greatest challenges often become your greatest strengths. Your deepest wounds frequently transform into your most powerful gifts. Carl Jung explored this principle extensively in his psychological work, recognizing that the human psyche contains archetypes representing fundamental dualities. He showed that acknowledging and integrating these opposites within ourselves leads to wholeness and psychological health. What we try to suppress or deny doesn't disappear. It simply operates from the shadows, often creating the very problems we're trying to avoid. Niels Bohr's work in quantum physics revealed polarity at the most fundamental level of reality. He discovered that light behaves as both a wave and a particle, depending on how it's observed. This wave-particle duality demonstrates that even at the quantum level, opposites can coexist and be equally true. Traditional Chinese medicine has long recognized this principle through the concept of yin and yang. Health is understood as a dynamic balance between opposing forces, activity and rest, expansion and contraction, heat and cold. Illness occurs when one aspect becomes excessive and the other deficient. Healing involves restoring balance rather than eliminating one side of the equation. Economic markets demonstrate this law through cycles of expansion and contraction. Wise investors understand that boom periods inevitably lead to busts, and recessions eventually give way to recovery. Those who fight against these cycles often suffer, while those who work with them can prosper during both phases. The story of Alexander Fleming's discovery of penicillin perfectly illustrates this law. What appeared to be a failure, contaminated bacterial cultures in his laboratory, actually became one of the greatest medical breakthroughs in history. The mistake contained within it the seeds of tremendous success. Working with this law, rather than resisting difficult experiences, look for the gifts they contain, because every challenge carries seeds of opportunity and growth. Practice perspective shifts by consciously seeking the lessons and hidden blessings in adversity, transforming problems into stepping stones. Strive for balance in all aspects of your life, recognizing that extremes in any direction eventually swing back toward their opposite. Embrace the full spectrum of human experience, understanding that joy is sweeter after sorrow, success more meaningful after struggle, and peace more precious after chaos. The law of polarity teaches us that life is not about avoiding one side of the spectrum, but about dancing gracefully with both sides, finding wisdom in the eternal interplay of opposites. Law 11. The law of rhythm. Everything flows in natural cycles. Life moves in rhythms. The beating of your heart, the changing of seasons, the rise and fall of civilizations. The law of rhythm reveals that everything in the universe follows natural cycles of expansion and contraction, creation and rest, growth and renewal. Understanding this law transforms your relationship with change from resistance to acceptance, from fighting the current to flowing with it. When you align yourself with natural rhythms rather than opposing them, life becomes easier, more graceful, and infinitely more powerful. Carl Jung observed recurring patterns in human experiences and behaviors, recognizing the rhythmic nature of the human psyche. He noted that psychological development follows predictable cycles, and understanding these patterns allows for deeper self-awareness and more effective personal growth. Fritjof Capra's research into systems thinking reveals how the universe operates in rhythmic cycles from the microscopic to the cosmic level. He shows how biological rhythms give rise to social, political, and economic rhythms, creating a vast symphony of interconnected cycles. Your body demonstrates this law constantly through circadian rhythms that regulate sleep, alertness, and countless physiological functions. When you honor these natural cycles by sleeping when tired and being active when energized, you experience greater health and vitality. When you fight against them, staying up all night or forcing productivity during natural rest periods, you create stress and imbalance. Economic history reveals the rhythmic nature of financial systems. Periods of prosperity are followed by recessions, which are followed by recovery and growth. The Great Depression of the 1930s eventually gave way to unprecedented prosperity. The 2008 financial crisis was followed by economic expansion. Understanding these cycles allows individuals and businesses to prepare for and navigate both challenging and prosperous times. Technological advancement also follows rhythmic patterns. The Industrial Revolution was followed by a period of consolidation. Then, the Digital Revolution, followed by integration. And now we're entering the age of artificial intelligence. Each cycle builds upon the previous one, creating increasingly sophisticated tools and capabilities. The music industry provides a beautiful example of rhythm in action. Albums are released, promoted intensively, reach peak popularity, then gradually fade as artists move into creative hibernation before emerging with new material. Musicians who fight this natural rhythm by constantly producing often burn out, while those who honor cycles of creation and rest maintain longevity in their careers. Flowing with this law, cultivate awareness of the natural rhythms in your own life by observing your energy levels, emotional patterns, and external circumstances throughout different periods. Learn to recognize when you're in expansion phases, time for action and growth, versus contraction phases, time for rest and reflection. Incorporate intentional pauses into your endeavors, understanding that rest periods are not time wasted, but essential parts of the creative process. Develop adaptability by learning to flow with changing rhythms rather than resisting them, because flexibility allows you to navigate life cycles with grace and effectiveness. The law of rhythm invites you to see yourself as part of a vast cosmic orchestra, each playing your unique part in the eternal symphony of existence. When you align with these natural cycles, you discover profound harmony and purpose in the dance of life. Law 12. The law of gender. Everything contains both masculine and feminine principles. The final universal law teaches that everything in existence contains both masculine and feminine energies, regardless of physical form or biological sex. These are not about gender roles or stereotypes, but about fundamental creative forces that work together to manifest reality itself. The masculine principle embodies qualities of focus, action, logic, and assertiveness. It's the driving force that initiates, creates structure, and pushes toward goals. Think of the sun, radiating energy outward, providing direction and clarity. The feminine principle encompasses receptivity, intuition, nurturing, and flow. It's the creative force that receives, gestates ideas, and brings them to fruition. Think of the earth, receiving the sun's energy and transforming it into countless forms of life. Neither principle is superior to the other. They are complementary forces that must work in harmony to create anything meaningful. Every great achievement, every breakthrough, every moment of creation requires both energies working together. Carl Jung explored this through his concepts of anima and animus, the feminine and masculine aspects present in every human psyche regardless of biological sex. He discovered that psychological wholeness comes from integrating both aspects rather than overdeveloping one at the expense of the other. People who deny their feminine side become rigid and disconnected from their intuition, while those who suppress their masculine side struggle with direction and decisive action. Ancient Chinese philosophy recognizes this principle through yin and yang. Yin represents the receptive, nurturing aspect, while yang embodies the active, assertive force. The Tao Te Ching teaches that wisdom comes from balancing these energies, flowing like water when receptivity is needed, and standing firm like a mountain when strength is required. Marie Curie exemplified this law beautifully in her scientific work. She combined masculine qualities of rigorous logic, analytical thinking, and relentless perseverance with feminine qualities of intuition, creativity, and sensitivity. Her ability to integrate both energies led to groundbreaking discoveries in radioactivity that changed science forever. The Wright brothers demonstrated this principle in their quest for human flight. They displayed masculine determination, strategic planning, and calculated risk-taking, while also embracing feminine creativity, adaptability, and intuitive problem-solving. Their willingness to work with both energies enabled them to achieve what many thought impossible. Consider the partnership between Walt Disney and his brother Roy. Walt embodied the feminine creative vision, dreaming up magical worlds and beloved characters through pure imagination and artistic intuition. Roy provided the masculine business structure, turning Walt's dreams into profitable enterprises through practical planning and financial discipline. Together, they created an entertainment empire that continues to enchant millions worldwide. In your daily life, you can see this law operating in how you approach challenges. Pure masculine energy might push through obstacles with force, but miss creative solutions. Pure feminine energy might generate beautiful ideas, but struggle to bring them into concrete reality. The magic happens when you learn to dance between both energies as the situation requires. Integrating this law. Begin with honest self-reflection to identify which principle you tend to favor and which you might suppress or neglect. Practice balancing work and rest by honoring both your need for focused action and your need for receptive rejuvenation. In decision-making, learn to combine rational analysis with intuitive insight, using both your logical mind and your inner knowing to guide important choices. Embrace creativity and structure equally, allowing space for inspiration while also creating concrete plans to manifest your visions. The law of gender teaches us that completeness comes not from choosing one energy over another, but from learning to access both as wisdom dictates. When you master this integration, you become a whole person capable of creating extraordinary results in any area of life. Conclusion. Living the laws. These 12 universal laws are not merely philosophical concepts to be studied, but practical principles to be lived. They represent the operating system of reality itself, the hidden mechanics that govern how energy moves, how thoughts become things, and how consciousness shapes experience. Understanding these laws is just the beginning. The real transformation comes when you begin to align your daily choices, thoughts, and actions with these cosmic principles. When you do, you stop fighting against the current of existence and begin flowing with forces far greater than yourself. You discover that you are not a victim of circumstances, but a co-creator of reality. You realize that your thoughts have power, your actions have consequences, and your very presence sends ripples through the fabric of existence. You understand that every challenge contains a gift, every ending enables a new beginning, and every moment offers the opportunity to choose who you're becoming. These laws work whether you believe in them or not, just as gravity works whether you understand physics or not. But when you consciously align with them, life becomes more graceful, more purposeful, and infinitely more magical. You begin to see the universe not as a random collection of events, but as an intelligent, responsive system that's always working to support your highest evolution. The journey of mastering these laws is itself a journey of becoming fully human, of realizing your potential as a conscious creator in an infinite universe of possibility. As you deepen your understanding and application of these principles, you join the ranks of those throughout history who have discovered the secret. We are not separate from the universe. We are the universe, experiencing itself through individual consciousness. The cosmos is not something that happens to you. It's something you participate in creating, moment by moment, choice by choice, thought by thought. These 12 laws are your invitation to step into that creative power and begin living as the magnificent being you truly are. Your adventure in conscious creation begins now.